Well, hello and welcome to the Onyx Path. This is Dork on the Onyx Path right now, doing the Session 0 of Mage the Awakening Breaking Tradition. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I'm your storyteller, Kelly. You see him as my pronouns, and I'm very excited to be here tonight for Session 0 of this little micro campaign that we are running. Because we need to do a chronicle in celebration of Lore of the Traditions, the new book that is being on Kickstarter right now from Onyx Path. I want to thank our friends at Onyx Path for having us on over here, and for all of you tuning in. Hopefully you'll enjoy this. And yeah, so how are you four doing tonight?
Not
Good.
too bad.
Excited to be
Pretty
back.
psyched for a new mage game.
Yeah.
Mage.
Did I literally say that?
Yeah.
God damn. New stream, new me. New stream, new me. So apparently I said the wrong word. I said the most rookie mistake because I was looking at someone else's Awakening ad. This is Mage the Ascension. God damn. All right. So hi everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Mage the Ascension Breaking Tradition. Ugh, it is a Saturday and I am exhausted because this is my Monday. So I hope everybody's doing okay and that we are all excited to get going on Session 0 here. A little bit before we begin, so we are the cast and crew over at Dorktales. You can find us at twitch.tv/Dorktales or youtube.com/Dorktales, where we run a bunch of content, a lot of D&D stuff, but we also run a fantastic Mage the Ascension, the Victorian Age campaign, chronicle, that is involving these four lovely people. And it's a fully costumed game that covers some pretty gnarly topics and kind of the history of the traditions in kind of sync with the whole Mage the Victorian era thing. It is fantastic to watch. Oh, and Plastic Age Plays, good to see you there. We're really happy to be here. We love being here. So if you like what we're doing here, go check us out over there. See if you like the other Mage content we have. I think this is a good time. Let's go through and introduce ourselves real quick so that everybody knows where we're coming from, who we are, and why we love Mage. So those should be the big ones. Like I said before, I'm Kelly. I'm the storyteller over at Dorktales. I have been a Mage the Ascension fan since my first year of college, actually, back in the early days of the 2000s. I grew up in the middle of Missouri, in the middle of nowhere. I had always really wanted to get into role-playing games, and when I went to college, the first game that I ever officially played, beyond like a session of Shadowrun, was a Mage the Ascension Chronicle. It followed a bunch of high school kids as they awakened, went to college, and it was very self-referential, as a lot of early games tend to be, and really shaped the way that I see role-playing games and I see communal storytelling. But beyond that, I've ran Mage for I guess the past 20 years now, and have done a lot of it in live action format, which actually a lot of you have joined me in, thankfully. So yeah, that's me. I love Mage, and I'm excited to be here. Let's pass it over to Christine.
Hello, I'm Christine. I use she, her pronouns, and I have been playing Mage the Ascension since my first year of university, when this dude started telling me all about how it ties in with history. As a history major, I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is great first date material talk. This is nice. This is good. This is kind of cool. Yeah, you do what now? Like, you run what? That sounds really fun.
Nerdy stuff.
And I joined these fools in a LARP. So, and yeah, I've not looked back.
Nice. How about Amy?
Hi, I am Amy, and Mage. Oh, right, I use she, her, they, them pronouns, because get that cleared out. And, oh god, I don't know, started with, like, listening to stories about existing Mage LARPs run by that guy. I don't know which way I'm pointing. Mr. Kelly over there.
Is it me? Okay.
It's you. I'm pointing at you. Yeah. Oh no, it's the other person who runs all the Mage LARPs here.
Oh. Hi, Jen.
Who could that be? Hi, Jen. No. But yeah, so started with that. Started with listening to all of these stories about these crazy shenanigans you were getting up to in these games, and then you ran one that I was able to go in and play in, and yeah, it was a wild ride, as was the other one. and again, also have not looked back.
Nice. Let's pass down to Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I use she, her pronouns. Yeah, I mean, I got into Mage also very early on, and also due to Kelly. I became friends with you and everyone else in that group in my first year of university, and you were playing what we now refer to as Mage 1, now LARP.
Of how many? We did like 7 different chronicles?
Yeah, well, we stopped numbering them after 3, I think.
Yeah! I mentally number them. Technically 3 had two Technocracy Chronicles in there too, so it was technically 5, but yeah.
Yeah, well, the big chronicles, we had those 3, and then some more after that weren't numbered anymore. But it was like the main cast, the first cast that went through those first 3. Yeah, so you were all playing in Mage 1, and I kept hearing stories during those late night drives around this town and whatnot. I also grew up in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, BC specifically, and wanted to roleplay. My first White Wolf game was Hunter the Reckoning, so that's always fun.
And it's getting a 5th ed soon.
And yeah, then you got me in from Mage 2 and didn't tell me who my real character was till halfway through the game.
It was great. It was great. She was a Technocracy plant the entire time. Her character had a little
without telling me. Yeah.
Well, I asked how badly you wanted trouble, and you took the adversarial background to Destiny Doom at level at least 2. I think it was 2.
Several, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then finally, let's pass it over to Robin. Hey, Robin, how's it going?
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Robin. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. And, I'm the baby of the group. This has been... We're getting close to a year of me playing Mage, but, very similar. I was hearing stories from my, almost near the beginning of when I joined Dork Chill, a year and a half ago now. And because I was gushing over your homebrew campaign, Shards of Nirn, and you were like, oh wait till you hear about this, and you started telling me about some of the stuff you did for the Mage LARPs, and I was just like, oh my god, it sounds so cool. This is amazing storytelling, and you kind of talked to me about how different it is from playing things like D&D 5e, which I was really only familiar with for any sort of tabletop role-playing situation. I was only familiar with D&D. I didn't really know there's other systems and things out there. And yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, what, if you ever run this on the channel, I really want to be a part of this, because I love the storytelling part of D&D. I love the roleplay and the getting into the characters and who they are, and you presented Mage as the better version of that. And yeah, I've been loving... I love the Victorian era. I can't wait to get into this and that. It's just... I
think you're really going to enjoy it. And it's been great having you there. I think that I think you nailed it there exactly, with saying that you really love the role-playing aspect, and it's nice to be playing in a game that has a system that is more designed to be a role-playing engine rather than a dice-rolling engine. And I think that the further we get in D&D, the more role-play gets a little focused, but it's still a leveling progression game, whereas games like what Onyx Path pretty much does is games where you get a role-play. And that is why Onyx Path, and formerly White Wolf, are always my favorite company to play with. So I'm very happy to be here. It is an honor. We ran a couple of games on the Onyx Path before. You might have seen Scion, Heroes for the Holidays, or Aberrant, Utopia North. I love Storypath. I think it's a great system. It's not Mage, so being here for Mage is really... I've had a fanboy moment for almost a whole week now. So let's get into this and talk about what Breaking Tradition is. So Breaking Tradition is a celebration of Mage the Ascension, first of all. This is the 10th anniversary of Onyx Path. that we are in I believe it's in February, or no, it's all year that we're doing this celebration on Onyx Path. But February is the Old World of Darkness celebration. It is also perfectly timed for a brand new Kickstarter for a new mage book called Lore of the Traditions, which is taking all of the mystic traditions, of which there are 9, and is having them examined from different points of view that may not have been really given much credit, given much chance in the past of the game line. Because as we see game development kind of grow and reach more and more people, we're getting a lot more diverse voices. And there is no better game than Mage the Ascension to show a diverse range of voices, opinions, beliefs, and realities that are experienced both internally and externally by these creators. And we are fortunate enough that we were approached by Onyx Path and were given access to Lore of the Traditions. And let me put it this way, if I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but this is one of the coolest mage books that has been put out in, honestly, since my favorite, the Storyteller's Handbook. Or Teller's Guide. I forget if it's a handbook or guide. It's on the shelf. And it's fantastic. If you are on the fence, back the PDF copy of this. It is really worth it. And like, you can come yell at me if you don't like it, because you'll like it. I guarantee it. So what we are going to be doing is we're putting together a game that is kind of following the fundamental themes of Lore of the Traditions, which is pretty much, I think quickly summarized, is that tradition is peer pressure from dead people, is kind of the vibe that I want to do with this campaign. It's the idea that the traditions did the best they could with the tools available to them at the time, maybe, but now it's, you know, the Ascension War has been over for like 20 years. We are in this place now where we have to look at all of the mistakes that previous generations of mages have made, and where do we go from here? How do we make our own mistakes independent of those mistakes, is kind of how I like to look at it. And to do this, we are starting a campaign that is very vaguely tied to our Victorian era campaign, our chronicle, that you should go check out. And we're setting it in the city of San Francisco. Ding. Or I guess ding ding. Yeah. Sorry, rice-a-roni. Yeah, so that's what I have here. It's going to be set in San Francisco. I'm kind of vaguely setting it in 2023 with hopes that I don't have to reference the pandemic. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. I can reference it as a past event. It's weird. I've been watching a bunch of shows on Netflix that were filmed during it, and then they keep referencing, oh, remember when that happened? It's like really awkward. So I hope not to have to do that. With that, it's a game set in San Francisco, roughly next year. And yeah, so let's go ahead and meet our cast. So when I approached you all about like what you wanted to play, we were chatting around a bit, and a funny thing occurred, which is that I was like, I don't care what you play whoever, whatever you want, but it'd be good if everybody was connected, because we only have like 5 or 6 episodes to play with here. And I asked if you could be connected, and I think I made an offhanded joke that, like, you know, it's the West Coast, like y'all could easily be dating or married, and it would just it's absolutely normal on the West Coast and in much of the coastal areas of the US and Canada. Okay, tell me what happened.
Well, so I had been thinking, well, you know what, that could be kind of fun. I was about to say something when Jen and Amy spoke up and we're like, oh, well, we could be married. I'm like, well, I was about to say, Robin, do you want to be dating?
Yeah, and I was like, I was thinking the same thing, Christine.
So we've got welcome to
Why? There we go.
Welcome to
I like that you stacked us.
Yeah, right?
I did.
It's like, hey, girlfriend.
Stop,
I'm
girl.
not going to
Stop,
make any
girl.
jokes about tops and bottoms. Because I know enough about Paisley and Bex's relationship to, well, then again, that does explain why Bex keeps funding Paisley's stuff. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about yet. That's step 7. So, who wants to start and talk about their characters? Christine, I realize that I made a minor typo in your name. That'll be fixed before the actual first game. That was me.
Her name's
not,
slightly fancier.
I think her. Are you talking? Viviani is actually a pretty cool name, although it sounds more like your surname, right?
Yeah, no, it's Vivienne.
Well, Vivienne, tell me about her.
All right, so I'm going to be playing Vivienne Todd, Vivi to her close friends. I am playing an ecstatic, or as some of the new more common terminology in the new Lore of the Traditions, the Sahajia.
And if we are mispronouncing that, please let us know.
I did just look it up.
Did you? Okay,
and
good.
I listened to something saying it, and I think I got it fairly close, not with exactly like the right accent per se,
Cool,
but
because I was
close
wondering
enough for an
about that,
English
too.
speaker.
Yeah, one of the writers has had to correct themselves before too, so it's not English, eh?
But I am focusing on the more like sensualist type of ecstatic, so the good old-fashioned sex, drugs, and rock and roll, just not quite the way they used to be done, because guys, consent is key here.
It's really true. All right, let's do this in couples. So Robin, you want to talk about your character?
Sure. So I'm playing Holly Grant, who is also a member of the Ecstatics / what was it, Sahajia?
Sahajia, you can call yourself parts. Like it's really open to debate at this point.
I'm not quite got like the accent,
Yeah,
of course, but then I'm not from that area and I don't speak those languages, so.
So yeah, she is the member of the Cult of Ecstasy, Ecstatic Sahajia as well, but her focus is more on the pushing your body to the limits and the highs that you can basically build yourself. So she's all in for that runner's high, the feeling of like winning from like participating in triathletes and things like that. Like, she is a fit girl. She's yeah, what else do you want to kind of say about more?
No, that sounds good for now. We'll get more into it in a second.
Yeah.
Let's go up to Paisley.
All right, so Paisley Evans is a little different from my other characters in that she is a hermetic. But like many of my other characters, she's an absolute disaster of a human being in that she can't hold down a job or any type of special interest for any extended period of time. As I explained to Jen, I said, okay, so imagine in our apartment, the living room. So every couple months, the carpet gets replaced with like carpet ends from like a carpet distribution place. So that then we put a plastic tarp over it, so that when she does her rituals in the living room, because that's obviously her space to do everything, it doesn't wreck our rent or our damage deposit. She does not put any concern into whether or not it also has damage on the ceiling, so there might be some singes up there. But anyway, this is Paisley. Paisley is currently a chef. Paisley is considering taking up loom weaving. I'm not sure where we're going to fit that.
What kind of place is she a chef at? I'm curious. And does she have her seal? Like, is she actually like a culinary chef?
Okay, so she's got 2 dots in cooking in talents.
Okay.
She has points in art, so she could plate things nicely, and she has points in craft, so maybe she takes some creative approaches to how she presents them.
She might be a sous chef or a pastry chef.
Yeah, so my concept for her, I don't remember what I wrote it. I think I was trying to mix multiple things, but I looked away and I looked back and I realized I had written chef alchemist. So yeah, she might be a sous chef, and I think Vex gets to experiment with her cooking sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Paisley, I still love you.
All right, and Bex. Tell us about Bex. Right as you take a drink of your drink.
Bex. So yeah, Rebecca Bex Allen. She's a actually, for those of you who watch Victorian era Mage, she is basically the opposite of my character there. She's a virtual adept, married to a hermetic, so y'all know that's going to be a fun time. And she's also how shall we say this? Elder millennial. She's an elder millennial.
Geriatric millennial is the term,
Geriatric-
apparently. That makes my
Is
back
it
hurt to say.
really? All right. Well, and she's married to Paisley, who is significantly younger. Not quite a May December relationship, but you know, definitely an age gap there. But Paisley was the one for Bex, and so that's just it. But that also means that Bex was actually around during the Ascension War, and she's, I believe, the only one of our group who was. And that has had a significant effect on her as a person and as a mage. So I'm really excited to delve into that some. And I'm hopefully not going to be accruing as much paradox as I tend to. We'll see how that works.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. So Jen, you've once played a character that literally evaporated from paradox.
Yes.
In the final session, you were just like, screw it, and you accrued you spent a willpower and accrued 40 or 50 points of paradox in the revised version.
We stopped counting. We stopped counting past 30.
I stopped counting once you had enough ag to kill you and your next door neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty great. It was just, oh man, that's fun. I miss the old days.
It was good.
Which means that I'm geriatric millennial, because that means I'm reminiscing. Okay, so that's the cast right now. The way that I kind of have this all stated. So right now, we're still developing the plot, and I'm trying to develop the plot to run. But to do that, I was going to kind of hash through this with you right now, and with anybody who showed up the chat right now, and figure out exactly what kind of story we want to tell in this brief window. Because we've got about 5 episodes to tell the story. And all I know from the start is that the opening is going to be Bex and Paisley. You know each other, and you know one of the other couple. I don't care which one. I know that Vivian comes from is living in LA right now and is basically commuting around doing party planning as her work. She is long distance dating Holly, maybe dating other people. I don't know. That honestly, with the ecstatics, is very, very likely to be in an open or a poly relationship, because it's good to have your foci nearby. And I would like it if the married couple were friends with one of them, because you are meeting the other person for the first time. That is my idea. You all are starting at a restaurant, meeting the girlfriend.
I mean, if it's all in San Fran, they probably know Holly over Vivian.
Not necessarily true, though, because it really depends on where you're coming from as a tradition mage. The council isn't quite as uniform as it probably was during wartime efforts. Yeah, Amy, what's up?
So I would point out that if Vivian's a party planner and Paisley is a chef and has worked in the food industry, she could have done catering.
Actually, that's true. Yeah.
So we could know each other. You could be coming in to visit and being like, hey, let's meet up. Also, I have my girlfriend. She's here from local too. Surprise.
That's true. That would work.
Gym. You guys have been saying you've been wanting to work out. You should go visit her gym.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So,
because I'm basically doing the kind of party planner, level of the C list, low B list sort of type stuff, not A list stuff, but
yeah.
She's middle of the road, but she's not your suburban party planner.
What kind of parties do you plan? Just anything and everything, or?
I'm thinking she kind of goes more for the sorts of parties that are the mix and mingle, the cocktail party style thing. Little award events, launch stuff. That sort of thing. Museum things. Something kind of fancy.
Amy
could have met
I
at
was gonna
their wedding.
say
Could have planned their wedding.
Could have been our wedding planner.
Yeah.
And also you could potentially do get-togethers for small groups of mages from times to time.
Exactly. And you know what? That could be how, because maybe she doesn't do weddings regularly because, oh god, not dealing with freaking bridezilla harshing the chill.
Mm-hmm.
The money.
Maybe occasionally, but being
for
fellow mages, if you were introduced to her that way, she might have bent on doing that.
Yeah.
As it kind of favors.
And I'm getting the feeling from Bex that like the wedding itself was more a Paisley thing. Bex didn't really care.
Does Bex really have much of a family to speak of that this would have been for? Because Paisley seems like, I don't know your character yet, Amy, but playing the character who's like the flighty, going from place to place, seems like probably came from an overly supportive family.
Ish. I have family issues as a flaw, but
that
I
doesn't
also
mean
have,
they can't be rich. In fact, I would say that probably means they're rich.
I also have 2 points in debts. So I think I maybe not have the greatest family connection anymore.
Amy, we chose similar flaws.
Woo!
I have the same 2 flaws.
I
Well,
mean,
let's
honestly,
see.
if we're in San Francisco, we're all in debt. It's fine.
It's
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
It's
It's
true.
true.
Well, or even does it necessarily mean like strictly like financial debt to other people, or is it your family holding debt over your
I think
head?
it's
sort
my
of thing?
student loans.
Ah, yes.
That'll do it.
We're in
That'll
the
do it.
States.
They probably, your family probably was like, we're not going to pay for you to go to more school. Like,
Yeah.
why
You're
did
not
you
going
get,
to culinary school.
yeah, why did you get a liberal arts degree? You should have gotten something that would, make you money. And we're not, we're not
Yeah.
paying for
You
anything
have a
else.
poetry degree from Vassar, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe one side of my family was like really supportive, and then the other side of the family was potentially just like, be gone, child.
Okay.
So one side got the wedding.
So let's take a look at this real quick. So I want to jump to one of the other items on my agenda for this meeting, and the topic I want to touch on is lines and veils. So right now we are playing with a group of basically young queers in San Francisco. What do you want that to be, like a topic of plot? Or do you want that to be like a shoulder topic? Or do you want that to just not even have any drama attached to it? Because honestly, like, this is something that's very important to figure out, in my opinion. Knowing whether or not, like, you want to deal with any family drama. Like, you just got married, and maybe you threw a big party to try to convince your family to, like you again. But that just, put the nail in the coffin when they're like, and you're in a non-traditional marriage. Which the whole thing about flouting tradition is kind of a theme. So I don't know.
I'm kind of have 2 opinions about this, because there's the one opinion where it'd be nice to have some sort of queer media that doesn't revolve around queer drama. Because it's always a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice for that to just be, this is just life. This is just how it is. But you bring up a good point with the whole breaking tradition thing. I mean, that does make sense. It's also, it's common in media because it's common, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if you don't want to play those tropes up, like you said, there's enough of that already, and it's such an easy route. It's like, if I wanted to watch a TV show that talked about attention deficit disorder or any other type of neurodiversity, it would basically be that guy who is like, bouncing off the walls, ADD, like, oh, I have attention deficit disorder, ooh, a squirrel, like that. And it's like, okay, that's not what I want. I would like a more authentic experience for it. Or I would just like it to not be stated. Like, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like Jake Peralta is absolutely attention deficit disorder. They just never say it. But you look at him and you're like, yep. Ding.
Well, that was like, I finished watching the series Schitt's Creek, and I saw their wrap-up episode as well. They had like a 40-minute like docu wrap-up thing. And that was the thing where it's like, it was very refreshing because Daniel Levy's character is like pan, and I think like uses he, him, or like they, them pronouns, but it's never a problem of the show. Like it's they go through like queerness and gender, like it's just a daily living thing, and it's just like they deal with other issues, and it's like it was somewhat refreshing to watch that, because it's just like, this is what we hope to strive to be, where it's just not like drama because it's just a thing.
Well, why don't we say it's not an issue then?
Yeah.
It's not an issue unless it becomes...
I would say not much of an issue, just because this is also my first time playing a queer relationship and trying that out, and I don't really want to like have it go overboard or anything in a way that's maybe, I don't know, like tying into stereotypes and whatnot.
Done. Then I've put down that there's no negativity that we're going to focus on in the plot. As a major plot point, it might be like something like a little shade of it at time to time, but like it's not going to be.
I already have relationship issues written into my background, so there's going to be some of that anyway. But yeah, that sounds great.
Nice. Okay, cool. That was just something I wanted to address right off the bat so that we knew how to go forward with this. So one of the big things as we're developing this plot and figuring out exactly what we want to go through is I want to know what kind of balance do you want between well, I guess the hallmarks of Mage, which are everything is magic. It is also, a good slice of the Matrix, let's be fair, like that type of like action extravaganza. Mage games are often very investigative, they can be very socio-political. But honestly, the biggest thing about Mage is seeing the world with new eyes and asking questions. So how investigative versus action-packed are you hoping for? Do you just want a nice blend?
I think so, a nice blend of stuff. I'm very focused on socials and decks. Socials and decks is me. So I'd like to be able to like play up that aspect of getting around things so that we don't necessarily have to fight.
Okay. Sounds good.
I did make a note here about the kind of game that I was wanting, and I do want some action or some fast-paced action type stuff, but it doesn't have to be physical action, right? Like it just needs to be. This is a short run, and I feel like in short runs there isn't a lot of room for that subtlety or slow builds that sometimes really investigative games have. So it needs to be a little blunter.
A little bit.
But I'm happy with the blend.
Okay.
I always like blends.
Sounds good. Someone asked us in the chat a minute ago, I think it was Chef, whether or not this is going to be a cosplayed game. Yeah, it is. Thankfully, it's set in 2023, so I could literally wear this as my costume, and I think y'all could as well.
This is probably my costume. I'm just going to change my hair up and makeup.
So
yeah, I have a wig, probably going to put on, like, similar to how I costumed my character for the Aberrant game is, like, athleisure and a wig. So
right.
Yeah, I've got a wig. I haven't decided on a shirt yet. But
nice.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to figure out accessories and jewelry.
I've got a ton if you need to borrow anything, just let me know. I've been collecting all sorts of weird
stuff. I got stuff.
Do you have mage stuff though? Because okay, I'm sure you do.
I have a ridiculous like medallion thing, which would be great for like a hermetic.
I have Enochian like angel summoning sigils on necklaces if you want them.
Oh, that's great. I'd wear them for fashion because I only have a single dot of Enochian. I won't know what a lot of them are.
It's okay. They all just mean like summon Bob the Angel.
Actually, yeah, I think
I love that angel.
Set of cheap fake gold like this stacked chokers that I can use. So
nice.
Jen,
see
what
how that
saying?
looks on camera.
Oh, I was just going to say that it was random. Just asked in the chat what Bex does for a living, so I figured I'd actually answer it with my voice instead of just typing it.
Sure.
Bex is a full stack developer for a small but profitable indie video game company.
Nice. We need to come up with a name for that company if you already have it.
Yeah, we do.
So, what's up, Amy?
I'm just thinking that I'm just like imagining Paisley working on her stuff and then just like pulling out a laptop and playing video games badly and then somehow managing to like correct something in the game, be like, you got this wrong, this is not how this is supposed to work, the sigils are wrong.
Alternatively, the sigils are right. You're actually going to summon the demon.
I'm just imagining you Paisley being Josh from Let's Game It Out, all those games we've been watching.
No!
Just wrecking the game, and Bex just being like, dear God, I hate you. I love you, but I hate you.
What you hate me for is my familiar.
Mm-hmm. True facts.
Okay. All right. So what I want to do is get through this, and let's talk about a couple of things real quick. I would like to know some supporting cast members that we have in mind for your characters. So right now, what I've asked you for is to have, let's see, what was the specific? It was, I asked you for 4 things. The first was a stance on modern traditions and the Ascension War in general. Most of which is basically like asking Zers is asking Zoomers about 9/11, right? Like they're like, oh yeah, I was too, right?
Let's hurt a whole bunch of people in the late 1900s.
Ow! You're a dick. That was bad.
I took damage from that. So
you took so much damage you actually froze, and I could only hear you talk. So, ouch. Ouch. Okay, well, we lost all of our viewers from that one. That's fine. They were old. It was past their bedtime anyway. All right. So, 2 NPCs in your daily life that I could pull in. Complicated relationships are best, and I'd love 1 negative and 1 positive. So, why don't we go through the list? Who wants to go first? I want you to pitch me some NPCs.
I got 2 ready to go.
All right. So, give me your 2. And if you don't have a name for them, I have name generators on my laptop. Cool. We can do this right now.
Perfect. So, one I actually do have a name for is her brother, Brandon Grant.
Okay.
So she is still in contact with, a little bit of the backstory is that Holly was supposed to go to college, and she managed to convince her parents to give her college money, and instead took it to take a gap year and never went to college. So her family has I don't think they really know or care about her sexuality, but she stole money from them. So they
care about that.
They care about that a lot. But she still has a good a slightly complicated good relationship with her brother. I think her parents try and use her brother to try and get to her and convince her to come back or owe money. So she sees him, and I figured she is from Washington, around like Seattle, Tacoma area is where she grew up.
If you had to cast somebody as Holly's brother, now Holly looks very much like a blonde bombshell, like she's got that Margot Robbie look to her. Who would be her brother, just so that I know how to play him when he comes up? If you can think about that, folks, for additional characters that you're going to toss at me, that's always better. Is he like Jeff from Community?
Yeah, okay. He's a little Jeff from Community.
Okay, so he's a little
Jeff
bit
Winger.
Which I can't remember the actor's name right now. I have his book,
Joel McHale.
I have his book in the next room. Wait,
nice.
Do I? No, it's on my wish list. Okay, so little Joel McHale. Sounds good to me. So he's like got that Seattle vibe. And who's your second?
My second is this is like my negative one, is the relationship with her loan shark, basically. I haven't figured out a name for him, but I am picturing
it's a guy?
Yep.
All right. Do you have a particular last name style in mind? Any type of like background or ethnicity?
I'm trying to think of like what would have been like the equivalent of like, not the mob in San Francisco, but like what would be like, what's a very
okay, I'm gonna list a couple off. I've got Bradley Kaufman, I've got Mike Pollock, let's not go with that one. I've got Mario Windsor, I've got Robert Black, I've got Isaac Sanders, Travis Platts, and
I like Isaac Sanders.
Mm-hmm. I can't ever spell Isaac to save my life, so Sanders.
And I am getting real like Kingpin vibes from Hawkeye.
Okay. All right, so we're talking like Kingpin vibes.
Yep. Okay,
so like huge white dude is what you're thinking?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, huge white dude.
Okay, sounds good. And and is he the reason that people are, we talked about this before, people are peddling HGH and other steroids inside of your gym, right?
Yes.
And you look the other way because
I have to, basically.
Soft spoken or hard spoken?
I think soft. I think that's more menacing. I think he's very soft with his tone. Like it's just like he's confident,
but like
and,
deep, right? Like it's
yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry, getting my acting prep. Always good to have
Yeah,
the voices
yeah,
in
yeah.
mind. And do you have a connection to your own tradition or another one? That is the other NPC connection I'd like. Either someone inside of your own tradition that is not a player, that is a connection, either positive or negative, no matter what, complicated, or someone else. So some of the examples that I put forward was an ecstatic who kept trying to sleep with you until you broke his nose. Basically, I want an example of the tradition that is not necessarily the standard issue. Or a my Akashic ex-boyfriend, the hermetic who tried to sleep their way to the top, something like that. Like my mentor who just got out of rehab. Like those type of connections.
I was thinking like a shitty mentor that probably tried to start her on the kind of more sex, drugs, and rock and roll side of the cult, and she had a really bad experience one time with her mentor, and then basically went into the like, I'm gonna make my own,
your own
like
way.
my own high through my body, not through drugs, kind of thing.
Okay.
So I think she has a complicated relationship with her old mentor.
So is this Mary Clifford? Is this Stacey Wells? Is this Alan Anderson? Is this Robert Atwell? Or Lisa DeRosa? Or DeRosa?
Ooh, I like Lisa DeRosa.
Lisa DeRosa. And so right here, she's like, is she like kind of 50s, 60s? Is she like, is she a counterculture hippie from the 60s?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so she's quite old. So old, hippie, burnout, I guess, who is just probably like an ecstatic when they go bad. Okay, cool. That sounds fantastic. All right, so I've got all of yours down. So who wants to go next for their NPCs? They're 3. And I hope you can't hear my dog is
I
going
started
nuts
thinking of
outside.
some. So
right.
I'm thinking a good one will be a guy who is her assistant in work. So she pays him basically.
Okay, I've got
to assist her with doing stuff, and maybe he even like feeds her little information on what's going on right now, like socially within the group, so that she knows where the landmines are, that sort of thing. I'm thinking a very chill guy who's fairly masculine, but can really pull out the femme feel, like the stereotypical gay man feel, to fuck with people.
Okay, I've got William Noto. I've got Carl Krug, Michael Palmer, Eric Cook, Harold Williams, Michael Campbell. These are a lot of really Vernon Moses.
I like Eric as a first name.
Okay, Eric, and what kind of last name do you want? Any particular ethnicity? Eric
not really.
Ziegler.
Sure, whatever you want to go with, really. I don't mind.
Okay.
I just kind of had a bit of a concept
I've
there.
got Eric Ziegler, and I've got, or we can do Eric Fleischman. Fleischman.
Sure.
It sounds better.
I'm going to stumble over it every single time.
Eric Fleischman.
I'm just never going to use his last name.
All right. So, and if you had to cast this guy, who would it be? I know you don't know actors very well, but
I'm thinking lightweight Hemsworth, sort of.
Okay, so Ghostbusters.
Because if I'm doing LA sort of thing, right?
Okay, Ghostbusters Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Did you see Ghostbusters?
I haven't actually watched that movie, but I've seen enough clips.
He's like the good part of it. Like he's really funny. And
you know what? I think he's got a man bun.
Okay, you just had to say
have
man
a man
bun. To be honest, that kind of summed up.
Yeah, that sort of feel. But he's fairly masculine, but he can turn on the whole like just to fuck with people.
Nice. All right,
and
sounds
just
good.
to bug them.
Who's character number 2?
So another good one I was thinking could be maybe a relation.
Okay, so this is the negative one or the complicated one.
Oh, this is a complicated one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
were we supposed to have 3?
You're supposed to have a positive, a negative, and then a tradition-focused one.
Okay. So let's do a cousin.
Cousin?
Negative.
All right. Melvin Ashby, Maria McKinn.
Let's go with Maria.
Maria McKinn. Okay. And how does this cousin have any sway over your daily life?
I think she just probably brings family drama into it, right? Kind of catty.
Family drama. Okay.
Texts and calls, and she likes to stir shit by misinterpreting and repeating stuff to other people.
How about an aspiring actress as well who keeps trying to use your party to meet people?
Sure.
Because everybody in California is an aspiring actor, right? So.
Yep. And then she gets her mom in on it because Vivian's not helping.
Okay, sounds good. And what kind of vibe for her acting? Like, who is she? You know what? I think that actually covers it. I can do an annoying. I'll just write that down. Sounds good. And your tradition contact.
Okay. I was toying with the idea that kind of comes up in the book of the whole idea where it sounded like quite often ecstatics would really encourage awakening.
Okay.
In others, in sleepers, without really them being able to consent in any way, shape, or form.
So the type of person who like spikes the punch at a party or laces a bag of pretty mundane weed.
The really 90s, like sex, drugs, and rock and roll type. The
edgelords.
The hairband groupie type person.
Male, female, otherwise, what are you thinking?
Maybe kind of the more androgynous male.
Okay, so how about Rainy as a name? Because that's...
Sure. So, like, while it didn't necessarily traumatize her to the point of, like, being against using sex or drugs or music in order to do magic, she is very much 100% an activist on, that's not okay. We can't do it that way. Let people choose. If they never awaken, they never awaken.
Yeah, so their whole...
respect that.
So their whole thing is that basically they are, like... that, you know how like humor and everything was in like 2004? Yeah. That's them as a person. They've never matured beyond that point. Like everything is still kind of edgy.
Yeah.
Okay. Including their... Okay, that sounds great. So I've gone with Rainy as a name right now. Okay, so that's your three, and I kind of have a vibe for them, but if you have any physical characteristics, hook me up later. So
I'm thinking very Steve Tyler.
Oh, Steven Tyler.
Or the dude, like that sort of really thin, or like Mick Jagger sort of look. Like
yeah, okay.
They spend their whole life doing drugs.
Glued together by drugs at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so...
Which, send me those names afterwards so I can add them to my sheet.
I will. All right, so Paisley, Bex, who wants to go?
I'm good if...
All right, let's do it.
That works. So, yeah, I've got... Okay, so were the positive and negative ones supposed to be not awakened, or
they can be awakened for... You've been in the game long enough, like that. I'll blur the lines for you.
Fair enough, because I was gonna say I do have significant, like a few connections to other traditions, but that's because of some of those flaws that I took, and some of that conversation we had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I was thinking that one of my NPCs was going to actually be this, like, probably I maybe don't necessarily know they're a technocrat or in the syndicate, but somebody that I'm like having this back and forth with like crypto or NFTs, like some sort of online battle that we're having, whether or not it's just an argument or we're actually like buying and selling and trying to like outdo each other in profit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I get any of the money, because I tend not to, but
I watched a lot of YouTube videos on NFTs to understand your character, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a long story that I don't want to have recorded. It is interesting and awful. So we have a lot of ground to cover, you and me.
And yeah, fair. And for those of you at home, there's a rote that is in the new book that is about NFTs, and it's fascinating.
You want to say what the real title is?
Like non-fungible tasks instead of
So dumb. I love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
so
it. Whoever
good.
came up with that, plus 10 internet points.
Absolutely. I like screamed in our Facebook chat about it. I was like, I
It's-
can't believe this is here. But yeah, so just somebody that I'm like having this back and forth with.
So, do you have a name for them or an internet name?
I don't. So we can figure out whatever. And I also probably don't know what they look like, but I might know if they have an avatar of some sort.
Okay, so I've got Striders as a name. I've got Setiverse. I've got Lazul. I like Lazul, actually.
I like that one. Yeah, let's go with that one.
Okay, so
I figured that there's kind of this mutual respect, but also like GTFO out of the space kind of thing going on between us.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I've got a name there. Good,
Cool.
good. All right, and who's number 2?
Number 2 is my therapist. Because I'm an elder millennial. I have a therapist.
That's true. Are they awakened?
I wasn't sure whether they would be awakened or at least in the know.
They're a vampire. It's Douglas Netchurch. Douglas Netchurch is your shrink for some reason.
Oh God. I have like a general image in my head, and it's kind of like Felicia Day.
Okay.
But I don't have a name. I did have a name, and then I was like, wait, because the first name was going to be Charlie, and I was like, wait, she's Charlie in Supernatural, and I was like,
What's
I'm
the
not
last name?
gonna go there. I don't know.
Sam Fiddler, Donna, Lois, Angela, Jesse, Leanne, Joe J. Hubs.
No.
Joe J. Okay. Susan Bradley. I've got Nora Caldwell. I've got Aura Miller, which is a weird name.
It is, but I kind of like it.
Aura Miller. You want to go with that?
Yeah.
Doc.
Yeah. Sure.
People call her Dora because it's Dr. Aura, and people just combine it. And she's
Of
very
course they
mad
do,
about
yeah.
this. Okay, so Felicia Day. Sounds good. And who's your big tradition conflict? Or is it who you want? Is it him?
I mean, there's him. There's my old flame flaw, his name is Mark, right?
His name is Mark. And
His name is Mark.
Any of you who have read a certain Hollow Ones tradition book know exactly which Mark we're talking about.
Yeah, a little backstory on Bex. She may have started out as a Hollow One, and then the Ascension War happened.
And they were
She's a
like, hop on the
adept.
Hollow Railroad. And you're like,
No, thank you. I'm gonna go get a real job, and sell out a little bit. So
So who's your other one?
Well, then we were also talking about how it's possible that Penny Dreadful thinks I'm a disappointment to the Hollow Ones.
Yeah. Oh, do you just want to have Penny there?
Well, there was that, and then I was also thinking potentially that whoever got me into the Virtual Adepts, like who was my mentor in the very beginning, is just very disappointed in me for not being the rising star he thought I was going to be.
What's his name?
I didn't have a name for him yet.
Is his central campus out of? Did you move away or did you do it here? Because if you moved away, I know exactly who your mentor could have been if you did any work at Olympus Systems.
I mean, I maybe did.
Okay.
Should we just do the thing?
You want Bug as your mentor?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
All right. That's some home campaign. Bug was an antagonist of Amy's first Mage Chronicle ever. He's a dick. He's basically like a nerdy, tight jeans wearing Bill Gates. And
Yep.
I think he's technically dead in the continuity right now because he uploaded his personality into the digital web.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean he can't just like spam you. In fact, it makes it easier. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, honestly.
Absolutely.
He's in the metaverse now.
Yeah.
Okay. I already know how to play him. He's basically not Alan Tyduck, Alan Cumming. So that works out pretty well.
Well, and I mean, you know, without spoiling too much for anyone who hasn't watched Victorian era Mage, it's, you know, there might as well be another little connection.
There's so many connections. There's so many fucking.
So it happens when you mess with time magic.
It's really true. It's really true. Hey, real quick before we head over to Paisley, can everybody give me their avatar essence?
Pattern.
Okay.
Questing.
Okay.
Dynamic.
Oh, okay. Holly, have you done yours yet on your sheet?
Yeah, I also had pattern because it was one
Totally
of the ones
good.
I didn't have. Okay.
No, double ups are fine. All right, cool. It just helps me figure something else out down the line. All right, Paisley, you are up, my friend. What do you got?
Okay, so I jotted some down. I don't have names for them yet, but I have like loose ideas of who they would be. So first off, so I think my good connection is my boss at the restaurant I work at, and I'm kind of actually picturing like a Menadil from Lucifer is like the kind of guy I'm picturing. Like really solid, awesome guy.
Just
so
like
the
chillest fatherly man possible, and also one of like the handsomest
really
black men on the
great.
planet, like just smooth as silk.
Oh yeah,
It's basically
absolutely.
he's basically like Mike Coulter's cousin. Like they both have that same vibe to them. You know, you feel me on that? Like goatee. Yeah. Anyway, all right,
Yeah.
Sounds good. So what's his name?
So that's my really good one. I don't know. I don't know.
Are you sure?
I need
'Cause I
a
think-
name for him that is not an angel's name.
Alan Cox. These are really bad names. Hold on one sec. Hold on, I'm checking something real quick. Do we have like, oh cool, there actually is a better generator for this. All right. Oh god, these are awful. Burton McGee, Raphael Gibson, Keon Davis, Ashton Cooper. Sorry, any Ashton Coopers out there. Is it more? Let's see.
I think his first name might be Robin.
Let's not do that because we got a Robin right there.
Oh, we do. Oh. My brain blanks.
That will be very confusing.
That was confusing.
For me.
Never mind. Hi. I know what people's names are.
Hi.
But you're Holly now.
You can
I'm
do
Holly
Maurice
now.
Dijkstra.
I've been
Maurice?
debating,
That'd be pretty good.
Okay, so
I've been
more. You want to go?
debating naming my character like a version of Chris, like, and then I was like,
Yeah.
nope, don't do
Nope,
that.
don't do that.
No.
No.
Oh, Thaddeus. Roke is the last name. I can't pronounce that. It's like Sluh. Ledbetter. Peter Stevens. No, not Peters. Stevens, Jeffries, Barry, Gamble, Cross, Ellis, Lane.
Ellis.
Ellis? All right, Maurice
Yeah,
Ellis.
let's go with Ellis. Maurice Ellis.
All right,
Yeah.
that works. Got it.
Yeah, I will write that down as well.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a good one. So my not so good one, I was
Mhm.
looking at this my family
Did you pull something from real life again?
family issues.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were pulling out your family Bible in real life.
Oh god, no.
That's got like It's weird. Go check out Victorian era Mage to understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's Amy's got like a backstory for her family, like in the family Bible. That's like,
It's not even the family Bible. My
Isn't that
great grandpa's just weird.
okay, well, that's
He just
true.
writes notes for stuff. Like there's like young soldier, like soldier crusader, like written in cursive script and then taped, like just glued into a page of his Bible. And I'm like,
That's what the Bible can show. He just, he's just like, it's literally just he was
quirky.
working on a tabletop role playing game and never told anybody because that's the kind of notes I
maybe
leave.
there's weird. Yeah. Anyway, so
Big Italian
No, so
smile
for,
written on the middle of
my-
the page. Like, what the hell does
for
that
my
mean, Kelly?
family issues, I was thinking maybe her parents are separated,
Okay.
and
You got to keep
her
it separate.
issue is not necessarily that her stepmom doesn't like her. It's that her stepmom really wants to be her mom in the way that really wants to fix her life. Really,
That's-
just like
Okay, that sounds good.
getting in there. And I'm imagining like I'm picturing like a short, like blonde type woman. Like I'm actually kind of picturing like a Kristen Chenoweth kind of deal,
Oh,
but
yeah,
not
that's-
quite like that kind of. Yeah.
Kristen Chenoweth is exactly what I need for
That's
this because
stepmom.
it's perfect. It's perfect. I love Kristen Chenoweth.
Okay.
She's got that energy. What's so I guess it's your last name then, so it's probably Evans. I'm gonna
well, it's a step parent, stepmom.
married your dad.
So, yeah. So
Probably
okay,
took your dad's
Evans.
name.
Yeah, in this case, yes.
So let's go with Nellie,
Nellie Evans.
Rena, Monica,
Rita?
Vernell. Rita could work. Do you want to do Rita?
Rita Evans.
Or
Does this sound annoying enough?
I'm Rita. Yeah, it sounds annoying. All right, and finally, your tradition connection. Who you got?
Okay. So that's what I'm trying to figure out because I didn't. The ones that you were kind of giving examples for were pretty mostly negative ones overall, but I was thinking like more just the person who's trying to be her mentor of sorts, but not really her mentor because I did not take mentor.
Mhm.
Just the person who she connects to in the Hermetic order. So I'm thinking like an old white guy with a beard.
Amy, did you
Yeah.
take that merit rising star like we
I
talked?
did.
Yeah, so it's some guy trying to hitch himself to your train essentially by being your mentor.
All right.
Yeah, so
So,
he's not really my mentor, but I think he wants to take credit for it.
like, you're gonna go somewhere, and he wants to be. I got them there.
Okay, yeah,
Praise be to
basically.
me,
I don't
praise
know
be to me.
I don't really have a good idea of what this person
Is he a douchebag?
is like necessarily.
Is he a douchebag?
Yeah, I think it's someone who's just like, who's kind of a cat. Yes,
Does he have a beard?
we have a lot of douchebags. Yes.
Okay. Have you seen Knives Out?
No.
Okay. First off, go watch Knives Out. Leave the call. Come back. Okay.
Just go. Just do it now.
Okay.
We'll just start instead of episode 0, we'll just start streaming Knives Out.
I mean, it's on Amazon. I
Oh,
think we
God.
actually could, but so I've got the perfect photo of Dawn Johnson from Knives Out to send you right now. So go check our private chat right now. And there you go. I think it's so good. It's so good.
As soon as you said it, I knew who you were looking for.
Right?
Okay, yeah. No, this guy.
That's
Yeah, sure. That'll do it.
Can you copy and paste that into the Twitch
I
chat?
can't stand him.
Oh, here we go. So there we go. That's who I'm picturing in my head for this guy. Perfect. He's got a fake tan. He's always wearing a members only jacket. He's not even a member.
I feel like he's probably also kind of a coward, which is why he was fine after the Ascension War.
Okay. My notes are going
If
to be...
he's been around for a while, but
Okay,
he's
so he's
like,
a coward. And let's just figure out real
Mhm.
quick what his... Okay, so this is going to be complicated because we have technically a shadow name and a normal name. So he's not Penelope Boyd. Yeah, let me just change that up. So is he more of a
whichever name he's more used to.
Timothy, Lester,
Yeah.
Russell, Israel, James, Darren?
I'm thinking Timothy.
Timothy, okay. Okay, so Timothy Branch. How's Branch as a last name?
Sure, Timothy Branch. But he probably goes by has like another little nickname that he shoves in there that he's just like, but call me this.
But call me... Ooh, what's a... Okay, hold on. Douchey nicknames. Call me Captain is a good one. The most douchebag names for guys. There's a ranker list of this. Chad is at the top, of course. Brad, Trey, Thad. These are great. Oh god, these are all...
The chat suggests Scooter.
Call me Scooter. Do you think anybody has ever said call me Scooter? No, I don't
The
think...
character on How I Met Your Mother was called Scooter.
But
I
he-
think that
was it-
Marshall's best friend.
But what I don't think like a guy that's really full of himself is like, call me Scooter.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Because that sounds like he's dragging his ass on the carpet, right? Like,
Yeah.
call me Hands.
And that guy was very much not full of himself.
Call
Oh
me
god, it's like
Han-
Timothy Edward Branch, but he's like, but call me Edward or something. I don't know.
That's pretty bad. Call me T-Rex. Timothy Rex. It's Timothy Rex. Branch, call me T-Rex.
Oh my god.
That's that.
Or
That's,
call me Rex.
Call me Rex. Because I want you to call me Rex because I'm ferocious.
That's
Because
too
I'm the
close to
king.
Bex.
'Cause
That's
I'm the
too
king.
close to Bex. It hurts.
Well, that's great. How about, like one day we could all get together and have some fun. You and your Bex and your Rex. Can
I hate him.
Hey,
I need cringe emoji.
can
right
Hey, can I borrow $5 to the vending machine? It's not taking my wands. Okay, it's for valet.
I hate
Park.
him.
It's for. I'm getting his voice. I'm getting it ready. Okay, so I've got your NPCs. Okay. All right. So now that that's in place, got kind of like a rough plot idea to figure out. So it's going to be y'all getting together, and then I'm not sure if it's going to be over a couple of days or just one really bad night. Presently, it's looking like one really bad night, maybe 2 bad nights. So pretty compressed timeline. So spend your willpower accordingly, folks. Real quick, let's go ahead and start talking
So
about...
spend it all.
Spend it all of it. Lines and veils right now. So does anybody have anything that they absolutely do not want in play? I'm going to just go ahead and say that there's not going to be any sexualized violence in the game. It's not interesting to me from a narrative perspective. And it's not great. So I'm going to say that one's just flat out. Is there anything else that y'all don't want in game? And feel free to PM me if you want me to say it instead of you.
No eyeballs, no fingernails.
I was going to do fingernails. Okay.
That's always been a hard no for me.
All right. No eyeballs, no fingernails. All right. Sounds good. And for those of you watching, we do, of course, have like a really good working relationship with each other. So there will be things that come up that might be stressing to some lines that like we know each other. You may not know us as well, but we have a good bond of trust between us, and we have like some internalized safe words and safe tags that we can use. So don't worry about us. Worry about you. If it bothers you, give the stream about 5 minutes and come back. Okay, so if there are any other lines or anything like that, let me know later, okay? Unless you can think of them right now. No?
Prefer not too much cruelty to animals either.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Okay, so...
It definitely gets me upset. And then I have to sit and like cuddle Pupper for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so no animals harmed in the making of this program. No fingernails. Nails.
I would say for a yes, just to make if you wanted to use like not in a sexual way, but the power dynamic, if there's like an interaction with Isaac coming over to the whatever to like.
So if there's a creepy moment.
Yeah, creepy moment, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, basically, the way that I pitch, if there was ever a creepy moment in game, it would be entirely in your as the player's ballpark. Nothing. I don't believe in forcing things like that on players. I don't think anybody should do that. But if you do a softball lob and you're like, oh yeah, like, and you think like this, this might be going somewhere creepy or something like that, like you are the driver of the scene. Like I will just narrate, okay? But honestly, I don't want to do much of that. But yeah, he is a creep. So
yeah, that was my main thought. Was like I basically have done this guy as a creep, so feel free to be creep with him. Like that is me when I pitch this idea of this character. Yeah. It's like, yeah, be a creep. All right, go for it.
I'll be creepy. It's fine. Okay. No nails or eyes. Okay, good. All right, so that's our lines and veils. All right, so now let's talk about magic. Okay. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time and may not know much about Mage the Ascension, Mage the Ascension is a game where you can literally do anything if given time, preparation, and knowledge. It is a game where the universe has been boiled down into 9 distinct categories, and your knowledge of each of those categories allows you to affect those realms. Those are, in rough alphabetical order, because I will mix one up. Correspondence, the control of distances and locations, measurements, the axis of we'll say the x-axis. There is time, which is the flow. I'm going to do it in whatever order makes sense to me, actually. Time, which is the flow of causal time, kind of like the z-axis, we'll say, or z-axis for my Canadian players. Spirit, which is control of spiritual energies, alternate dimensions, different layers of reality beyond our own. I kind of picture that as the y-axis. So you've got kind of this like grid system. Then there are like the material sphere. So matter, which is this coffee cup, the cold coffee inside of it, my shirt, any inorganic matter or deceased matter is covered by matter. Living matter is covered by the sphere of life. And that covers everything from viruses, which you'll have players someday who will argue that they don't count, but they count. So, to everything like us. So healing, hurting, transforming people into balsa wood. So long as the balsa wood's still growing, yeah, that would be what that is. Then forces is the fundamental building blocks of the universe, the energies of the universe. Fire, heat, light, sound, and all of their negations, such as cold or any of that, all covered by that. Includes magnetism, nuclear force, etc. Then there are the last couple, mind, which is anything involving conscious thought, emotions as well, and so on. Then there are the two that are very hard to describe, progressively harder to describe to new players, which are entropy, which is the breakdown of chance and randomness, also kind of a bit of fate in there. Very interestingly, in Mage the Ascension, it has a more negative slant. It's more about entropic decay. And that's very cool because when they wrote Mage the Awakening, they split it into two different arcana, fate and death. Whereas in Mage the Ascension, because it was a fairly negatively fatalistic universe with a planned ending, they were the same thing. So your destiny was death. Right, it was entropic decay. So you'll use entropy to manipulate variables, to cause things to break down, to cause things to run better. Some nice like Swiss engineering on your watch, or for example, to control minor bits of fate, or even cheat at cards. So, and then finally, Prime, the sphere of reality. Everything is basically made up of quintessence, and Prime is the sphere that manipulates that. Prime is the sphere of magic. Because of that, it allows you to influence magic as a whole, either making effects bigger, stronger, more permanent, less permanent. It can also allow you to steal the fifth element of the universe, quintessence, directly out of things through sacrifice or destruction. Prime is the best sphere, and if you disagree, you're wrong. And with that, what are everybody's spheres? Let's start with Jen, because Jen, you've got a diverse portfolio. When you're looking at your spheres, basically there are two stats you need to be aware of. One is your sphere rating, which is how adept you are in each sphere. And then your arete, or arete, if you just want to just read it without any accent marks, which is your awake-o-meter. So how much power do you have, and then your spheres are what can you affect with that power. So Jen, you have an arete of...
I have an arete of 2.
Oh, you bought it up. I thought it was only 1.
No, I stayed with 2 the whole time.
Did you say? Okay.
Yeah. Because I have 1 sphere at 2 dots.
Ooh, fancy.
But yeah, like normally you can, if you, depending on how you spend your points when you're building your character, you can get up to arete 3, and I think everyone else has arete 3.
Yeah.
But I, like I said, this is the opposite of my Victorian era mage. So I'm going low level here. I wanted to try to kind of play into like the creativity aspect and seeing how I could take low level spheres and still be fun and a mage and creative that way. So I have arete 2. I have the data sphere rather than correspondence, because as a technology mage, you're allowed to do that. It's technocracy usually uses data instead of core. It works the same, except your mindset is different about it, really.
It gives you some cool abilities. Like it really...
Yeah. And you can affect different things And
You don't use a voodoo
stuff
doll,
like
you
that.
use a social security number, right? Like, and that's,
Yeah,
or a Facebook account.
yeah. So data 1, entropy 2, forces 1,
Mhm.
mind 1, prime 1, and time 1.
Good. Okay. Paisley, what do you got?
So Paisley has Arete 3,
Mhm.
and I went Forces 3, Matter 3. And so you're saying that like matter includes dead bodies, right? And forces is things like fire. So
Mhm.
like I can easily clean up the dead bodies, right?
I don't know why there are dead bodies, but yes.
I'm
There's
assuming
always dead
birds,
bodies.
honestly, because we live in San Francisco and they probably like crashed into something. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So after we go through it, whatever these spheres are, I will give a rough breakdown so the people who are watching know what these spheres do. Okay, that's, yeah, you absolutely can do that. Christine, what does Vivi have?
Arete 3,
Hmm?
life 3, time 3.
Okay, so you got time life. Warner.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna stay young and beautiful forever.
This is really true. And your character will too. Robin, what do you got?
All right, so I'm also Arete 3, and I am Mind 3, Prime 3.
Mind 3 Prime 3. Perfect. You have access to the knockout route. That's going to be great. All right. So what can you do with these? So really, to look at them, the really basic way to break down what you can do with any individual sphere is as follows. Now, some of them have different rules, but I always explain to new players like this. Level 1, you can do perception. You can see these spheres in motion. With Forces 1, you can see in the dark by detecting ultraviolet light. You can see where, in the dark, you can look around for where the electrical plugs are using electricity sight. With life, you could detect, specifically, you could look around for, okay, I'm looking for my missing cat. Where's my cat hiding? Detect cat. Right? You could also look at an individual person's pattern and say, okay, you've been coughing up blood. Do you have lung cancer? Or no, you've just been like working in your attic without a respirator and have inhaled a bunch of fiberglass. Okay, cool. So with that, like, there's a ton of other ones, like entropy 1, you could learn to count cards. My favorite, most deadly sphere at level 1 is prime 1, you can see magic, which is super useful, is time 1. Time 1 is my favorite one because you get in a fist fight with somebody, they run out of your apartment. I think I used this in a game once, but a guy got in a fight and ran up to, so the guy was like on like the 10th floor or something, and the assailant like ran out. So instead of chasing him, he went up to the roof, used time 1 and a brick to calculate when he'd leave the building, and just went 1,003, 1,004, 1,000, drop. Easiest way to win a fight I've ever seen. It was either me or my friend Roman who did that. I think it might have been Roman. It was a real dick move and I loved it. So level 1s are all about perception. You can also do minor manipulations, like very minor. Very minor would be to your immediate self. So anything like that would be almost non-magical. Would be
Mind is a good one for that, because you can do, at least in M20, you can do a mind shield at level 1.
Yeah, that's something new, is that I got to remember that M20 did change around a couple of things that are like that. So at level 2, what you can basically do is you can turn up a dial or turn down a dial. Those are the big ones. So for example, there you could heal someone, or you could heal yourself, I guess, by encouraging the growth of new cellular matter. You could protect yourself from a bullet by putting up a shield that dampens kinetic energy. Alternatively, you could punch someone in the face really hard with forces as well and just increase your kinetic energy, so you hit them with the force of 4 punches. Level 2s are really about just playing with the plus or minus meter. Like, let's turn up the volume. You're still inside of the realm of it being a base increase or decrease on whatever you are doing. It also allows you to, depending on what sphere you're using, use your abilities on specific points of matter or stationary objects that have no resistance. So examples there would be like you want to use a prime effect to imbue my cell phone so that it is more durable, or does aggravated damage when I crank you in the face with it. Something like that would be usually Prime 2, although I gotta remind myself if they change, because Prime changed a lot for M20, and it's been about 2 months since we played, so I just have to remind myself on that one. At level 3s, you are in the stage of transmutation, changing one thing inside of the same rough state. Matter's an easy one because you can change inside of an entire state. There you can change like water to air, you can change gasoline into a solid and stab someone with it. In other ones you could change type. So for example, in life you can change yourself. You can give yourself cat eyes to see in the dark, you can give yourself wings. You can start doing some minor manipulations of your pattern that are like those base transmutations. With other spheres like what's a good one? Forces, you can change forces so that you can turn a gunshot into cold. So instead of the sonic noise that comes out of it, the gunshot, it just gets really freaking cold. And the gun might freeze up, but it's silent. So those type of things absolutely do work. And obviously each sphere has its own permutations inside of it. Time magic is much different. At level 2s in time, you would be able to look forward or backward in time as like a minor tweak of that dial. Time 3, you would be able to do things like reverse or slow the flow of time in your immediate area. So it gets a little sketch, but it'll make sense, I promise. At level 4, you have the ability to take that plus or minus dial and then just turn like a master volume rather than just a personal volume, like on an equalizer. That would be things like turn a little bit of wind into a hurricane, shield everyone in your presence from lava, heal someone from the brink of death with a single casting of a spell. Or transform yourself entirely into an animal. Things like that. And then level 5, you can do basically whatever is fundamental basic mastery of the spheres. You can turn into a dragon with life magic. You can astral project and create new things. At level 5, in one of the books, they say that you can create a... Ooh. Or is that Masters of the Art? It might be Masters of the Art I'm thinking of. But if you need to make a nuclear weapon, you can do it with enough forces. And probably some prime and a little bit of matter probably helps. But yeah, so that's basically what those spheres do. Yeah, I think that about covers it. You guys have a lot of stuff. Did you want to go through rotes on this session? Or... Because the way we're doing rotes is that basically, under the way we use them, if you are casting something while under stress, you take a distraction penalty unless you have it as a pre-established rote. At that point, it is just like it's second nature at that point. So rote is equivalent to spell in any other system. It's something that you practice every time. You do it the exact same way every time. If you cannot do it that way, for example, you summon the Archangel Michael to do your taxes by inscribing a pentacle out of the blood of a virgin lamb that was slaughtered on the 7th day of the month using a ritualistic silver dagger that itself was forged, I don't know, at Mount Doom, you know. So, but if you don't have access to any of those, then you would not be able to cast that as a rote. You'd still be able to cast it, but you'd be like, oh shit, I only... This was a very slutty lamb. I don't know what thing would be. I don't know, guys. You have to use a goat, and it's not quite the same. Maybe I accidentally get the angel Raphael instead. He's like, I'm really not a tax angel. I'm more of like a public affairs angel. But you know, I think you can use that as a deductible for streaming. I don't know. So that's what rotes are. Now, does anybody have any questions about rotes and what you want to do with them?
Not right at this moment. I still need to read through some stuff like a few times and start trying to develop some.
Okay. Yeah, I have not much idea of rotes for...
Does anybody have any question of what they... Well, does anybody want me to pitch something for them?
Well, I was thinking that I would probably be using rotes for... Oh man, just like something for convenience even. Just to like... I don't know. Grabbing things that are too far away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, telekinesis is forces too.
Yeah. So
You take
probably
that.
something like that in that
so
realm.
take Wingario Laziosa. That's forces 2 or forces 3. Your call. What were you saying, Jen?
I was just saying that I have a list of potential ones. I like that I kind of came to one conclusion and then found that the Euthanatoi already have that as a rote.
Nice.
One I was looking at from the lists that Jen found that and circulated around us was the enhanced regeneration one, which is time 3, life 2.
Yeah.
Or that's what they suggest. And it's basically that time mages are able to selectively speed up the healing and regenerative abilities of an organism, making it recuperate much faster. This is often accompanied with hunger and extreme itchiness. Suggests some ways other people do it, and then while the Cult of Ecstasy just gives the patient such a good time they forget about being hurt.
Nice.
I figure that could be kind of turned internally as well.
Absolutely. So here are some other ones that might be interesting to you. So you had time 3. What else? Time 3. Was it prime 3 or was it mind 3? Right.
Who are you talking to?
Christine, you had time 3 and
life
3. That's right. So some other time ones, aging or reversing age on an object. If you've got life, you could mix that in with a living being. For example, making an egg hatch or unhatch. You could also use it to just age specific things or yourself. Like if you want to look much older look much younger, then you could always look young. You could increase or reduce speed. You could look forward or backward in time. You could rewind time. You could speed or slow time on yourself or others. So those are pretty good ones. Anybody else have any that they are interested in learning about?
I was wondering
what's up?
if so. I don't know if you can recall this off the top of your head, but do you know the Hollow One wrote Spot the Man?
Yeah, that's the one from the Revised Tradition book, right?
Yeah, so they have it listed as Correspondence 1, Life 1, Matter 1, and Prime 1, right? And it's looking at how they're it's revealing the existence of any technomagic implants in a target, as well as identify the presence of chromium. However, I was wondering if I could maybe make a variation on that with like mind and possibly either data or entropy as like just a locate mage or technocrat by like looking for magic essentially.
So that works for me.
Cool.
Do you say any prime in there?
Yeah, prime.
Okay, so yeah, just make it mix all 4 of them in there.
Yeah, I did mind, prime, data, entropy just as a.
So if they're using data, I'd say that the whole thing is you'd either have to be able to find a photo of them, like not you specifically, but as part of the effect, you'd basically like do a quick like facial recognition scan or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Alternatively, you could do that or a local near field communication with them, basically like an airdrop. To be like, like ping, oh look, they left their Bluetooth on. What do we got? What data can we pull from this? Oh, technocrat, gonna go.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Yeah, you can absolutely I feel like Spot the Man is something you definitely would have learned and probably adapted over time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking. This is the one I got from I thought of it first and then found out that the Euthanatoi have a similar one, but Mind 1, Entropy 1 to sense mental flaws.
Okay.
Or mental weaknesses.
Okay. Mind 1, Entropy 1. Yeah, okay. That sounds good. I can see it.
You know, it'd probably be the more obvious ones, that person's a narcissist.
Do not turn that on in a room full of millennials or Gen Zers. Because it's just like, it'd just be like static feedback noise. You're like, everyone in this room needs therapy because the world sucks.
Yep. And then there's also another one that I can't remember what it is off the top of my head now. Now I gotta look for it. But it's called Subprocess.
Okay.
Okay, it was in the list so I found earlier, but I think it was like it was a Mind 1 something that I also had wrote. I can look it up later, but it's basically the mage allocates a small part of his mind to perform a certain task. And then the mage will then forget about it until the sub process is finished.
Defragment shopping list.
Yeah, and they say time 1 can be put in to create a timed sub process.
That sounds rad. Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
those are all great. Anybody else have any other rotes, or Jen, do you have any more that you want to run by me?
I have several, but
I mean, I think that if for one, if you got them from a book, I'll approve it. Period.
Okay. Cool.
If you need to do minor modifications, I trust you. Just send me your final list.
Sure.
Does anybody else need help talking through any of their spheres or what they can do? Yes.
Hi.
Hi, Robin. Hi, new player. Okay.
Hi, new player who's known matter and forces for the other characters. So these are like the opposite.
Matter is so you've got matter. What do you have right now? You've got.
Oh, I have mind and prime 3. Okay. So matter and forces were Darcy, and that's like. I know a bit about that. These are like.
So I'm just gonna list a bunch of things for you, okay? And I'm gonna hold up the number of fingers. Okay, so mind, conceal or alter your own aura, see someone else's aura. Sorry, it's still mind 1. Let's see. I'm just looking through the book.
What was this knockout one that you talked about? I can't find that. In the
because it's a LARP one, so I'll have to look that up. I believe it is. Mind 3 prime 2 because it's telepathy. So is it mind 3 or is it mind 2? It's mind 2 because you can't put more prime through something than the size of it. But they changed for prime bolt to prime 3 now, didn't they? In M20.
Prime bolt.
Prime 3 you can literally hurl quintessential energy at people.
You can throw lightning bolts essentially, but without forces.
And when I run game, they are visible to sleepers, though.
Oh, psychic blast, is that what you're talking about?
It's so psychic blast is a mental thing. So what this would do is I'm just looking this up right now. So enchant weapon or armor, create quintessence weapon is 3. Yeah, I'll allow it at prime 2. It'll just cost you money. So it would be mind 2 prime 2. Basically, what it would be is that you spend a point of quintessence, and if you get more successes than their willpower, I think is the way that it works with mind, you just power their brain off.
Oh, okay. I just say
so you basically it's deliver a bolt of reality, but you apply it directly to the brain. And it's just a knockout punch like in a movie. Right, it's such a great little power, and it would last the amount of time that you put into it. So because Mage is so differential, like it is based on how much energy and time and prep you put into this. It's just that it's an instant knockout if it hits.
Okay, and then like with Prime, you can infuse like regular stuff with.
Yeah, you can make charms, which is something that you haven't encountered in Mage before. You can make magic potions.
Oh.
Or magic items. For example, around like I guess for you it'd be Canada Day, but for 4th of July, any fireworks stuff. Remember those little snappers that are just basically a little bit of gunpowder and rock, and you throw them, they go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what if it was actually an explosion when you threw those, and you made a batch of those with like Forces 3, where it's a small fireball whenever you throw one of those? That would be a charm. You can make a batch of those things. And the mechanics there are really diverse. We'd have to look at how that works in M20, but you could do that with your other spheres. So you would have like, you keep a vial of tequila that's infused with something that gives you a mind shield whenever you drink it, because when you drink tequila, you get a little wild and hard to predict. Or something.
Could that be like a rote, like for something about my character and what she does? It's all like about like that, getting that like would a mind shield be something in effect like you'd do by controlling like your breathing or something like that?
Absolutely. Okay,
cool.
Could be. And don't forget, there is one thing that has always been a question in Mage the Ascension, and that is my paradigm enough to justify the effect? Or do I have to do an active focus or practice in that moment? If I am a member of the Akashic Brotherhood and my focus is martial arts, do I have to do a kata to punch someone hard enough to break their jaw? Or is the fact that I do 2,000 push-ups every day enough to justify that? I always say that if you do something every day and your paradigm is part of your existence, then that is your focus. So, for example, you have enough mind that you can calm your emotions just because you're a generally pretty chill person, and by taking like a round out to breathe, you can do that.
Okay.
You don't need to go and meditate for an hour. I mean, you can for greater results, but so that kind of thing is very very open to interpretation. So yeah, you absolutely can do that. So for Prime, there are a couple of really easy ones for you, Robin. Enchant weapon or armor is good. Basically, you can create something that is more resistant to damage, or is able to deal additional damage or different, more extreme damage.
Yeah.
You could use, one sec, let's say you can create a weapon directly from energy with level 3. You can consecrate or perfect an object, which you kind of need to do that if you're going to make charms and stuff. Conceal or alter your aura is another good one. But I think the first one you should have is Prime 1, Prime Sight.
Yeah.
To be able to see magic. Everyone needs it. At Prime 3, you can do some pretty rad things like channeling effects into life and so on. And what you can... Sorry, go ahead.
I saw one that was like you can create illusions.
That's a weird one that I
Am
only
I?
saw in M20. They kind of played with that with early editions, but the idea that you create like phantasmal visions of things by warping reality, I'd be down for that. Which book did you see that in? Was that in?
That is just in it's the section that we did of the I think it's in just the regular like the 9 spheres
is
section.
in the 9 spheres? Okay.
Yeah, because it's mental. It's 3 mental link, project illusions, dream walk, psychic blast. Like that is the
In
that
mind
section.
you mean?
Yeah, in mind.
I thought you were talking about in Prime. So I was
No,
I guess
I'm also
that's
switching
kind of
to mind both. Like I'm doing. Would I be able to use like Prime to make it more believable for something? Like would that like?
Yeah, you absolutely would. So if you were doing it for a specific person, you could spend a point of contestants and use Prime 3 to make it act independently of you.
Oh, okay.
So that would basically be like creating a chained effect that would be more resistant. That's using the effect fuel. I think that would be like fuel new pattern. So this effect gives you fine enough control for mages to create new patterns with the appropriate spheres. So a freestanding illusion using mind magic that anyone who like went into the room would be like, oh, hey, when'd your mom get here?
Okay.
I thought your mom was dead. Right? Which is great for like, you could absolutely do that. Good luck figuring that out with your paradigm, but I believe in you. You just got to break on through. So other mind ones that are pretty good. Influence mood is a great one because you can use that on other people. Detect mind pattern is a really good one. Lie detector is a really good one. Aura perception is a really good one because remember, like deception shows up in your aura, so does anger. Also vampirism. Yeah. So you haven't played enough World of Darkness games. Everybody needs some aura perception to detect vampires. You can also do that with Entropy 1 to be like, hey, should this motherfucker be here? Nope. Okay. Or you can do that with Matter 1. Or
I was going to say Matter 1.
Forces 1, detect room temperature bodies with Forces 1 Life 1. All right, who here is 95 degrees or hotter? That guy's blending into the background. I'm going to avoid him or set him on fire. So yeah.
Warm him up.
Warm him up. Oh, god damn. Sleep spell is Mind 2. So at Mind 2, basically, you can encourage any natural mental process. So that could be like, you need to win an argument, inflict submission on someone, make someone more subservient to you. Back in the old days of Mage, when it was a bit more edgy, that was like Mind 2 and Mind 4 were often used as like quick pickup line effects, where it's like, if you were interested in me at a 5, you're now interested in me at a 9. We've kind of moved beyond that as a gaming society, I think. But I still do love the Nice Boots Wanna Fuck wrote for its name. I'm not kidding. It's literally right here in this book.
It's good. I also like the fuck off wrote.
Fuck off is so good. You just
fuck off and die is better, but you need entropy for it.
It's true. Yeah. Was that one of mine, or was that? I feel like that was one.
It's either one of yours or it's a hollow one wrote.
Fuck off is basically that you look at someone and you infuse the emotion of needing to be as far away from here as possible.
Amazing.
And
I
then
used to do it as a hollow one who smoked, and I would just fake smoke and just blow smoke in their face and be like, "Fuck off."
And then fuck off and die has enough entropy that it just leads to a
piano falling on them or something.
Exactly. So there's another one in the Hollow One book that would be really good for you. It's Cool Glamour. It's basically you use Mind 2 to be the coolest person in the immediate vicinity. You just, like you look at some people and you're like, that guy's pretty cool. She's pretty rad. Like, she's cooler than me. Yeah. Mind 2 is also pretty good for like center of attention. You just turn up your charisma. Oh, and one last thing that you should be aware of, Robin, because you normally play a Verbena, so you normally have access to life. And I remember how you cranked your strength up to like strength 8 for a scene?
Yeah.
Okay, life magic covers the following: your physical attributes as well as your appearance score.
Mm-hmm.
Mind covers perception, intelligence, wits, and your social attributes that are non-appearance related. Because being social is a mental process. So using Enhanced Self, you could literally go and plank for 5 minutes and come back with Charisma 8.
Okay.
And just be like, I'm one with the universe.
I'd also like to recommend for anyone who isn't sure what roads they like. I mean, I know I sent out those PDFs and whatnot. Look for other traditions roads that you might just be able to adapt to your own paradigm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially Hollow One roads, because they go for everyone.
They go for everyone. They're just really specific. Amy, your character is extra as fuck, so Summon Fog with Matter 3 is pretty great in San Francisco.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not even vulgar. Yeah. Like, you can just do that. You're just like, oh no, the fog has arisen. Time to go hide.
I'm trying to decide. I feel like the ones that she would have as rotes are ones she uses on a regular basis in between her regular ritual castings, which she also does regularly. So things like, my hands are full because I'm about to cast a ritual, but I need that thing over there to be pressed. I need that button to be pressed or something.
That's telekinesis.
Yeah, so like things like turning off the stove because she forgot to turn it off while she was doing a ritual, or like having to cast a shield really quickly because something's about to explode, or like put out fires. That sort of thing. The things that you need to do like on the fly.
Nice. Yeah.
I feel like I probably have a life rote of some sort that enhances appearance.
Yeah, you can do that. Just call it blowout. Because when you feel good, you look good, and when you look good, you feel good. Alternatively, you just call it sex appeal, and literally, you go into a washroom for 5 minutes, take care of it, and then you come out looking great because you're feeling good. You're feeling less stressed. Don't know why. Don't know what you did in there. Don't need to say. Maybe it was applying lipstick. Maybe. I'm not gonna say it on someone else's channel.
Yeah, what is the rating of this channel, actually?
It's mature. It's mature.
Okay,
on
good.
Onyx Path.
I was gonna say, because Mage can be a very mature game. Especially having a couple of statics.
Right? Like, there are all sorts of equipment and tools that you could use as an ecstatic in the field. It's great. Amy.
So I think 2 ones that I definitely need are Where Am I? Because she's gotten herself lost, or she's been reading a book and she's absent-minded because I took that flaw. And then alternatively, I think it's like something to, I want to summarize as, where's that smoke coming from? Or just to like determine where a force effect is occurring or something forces are happening. So like,
with
I know
forces,
where the smoke is, or where the cold breeze is.
So you would need to pick a specific, for the route, you'd pick a specific type of force.
Yeah.
So if it would be like, where's the smoke coming from? It'd be like probably a heat detection.
Yeah. So I'm sort of looking at this going like, maybe I should have put a dot in correspondence, but that's okay. Or at least I know what's on fire, more like. Because matter.
Call it Where's the Fire?
Yeah, Where's the Fire, or yeah. I
Yeah.
would have to be in a general vicinity and have an idea because I don't have the correspondence. But
The-
like, at least I would know that if it's like, oh, that's a book that's burning, or that's probably something that's gonna explode in a couple seconds if I don't.
I would say that in
That kind of thing?
2022, 2023, the most useful effect, if you don't have life or mind, is Forces 1 detect electricity.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
everyone has a smartphone in their pocket.
Mhm.
So if they're coming up and they don't have a smartphone, they'll get the jump on you maybe. But if you have the ability to like sense people's phones,
Mhm.
also very useful for how often your character probably loses her phone.
Yeah.
Those things are expensive.
Yeah.
And
So-
and Bex started like refusing to look for stuff for you. Just figure it out yourself.
The chat has said that heartbeats are electrical. They are, but they're inside of a life pattern. So you would need to use life to determine that, because you cannot violate a pattern without using the sphere involved. I would say that inside of a coat is fine, but inside of a heart was not. Same with brains. Not inside of a brain.
Unless you open up the heart.
Yeah,
but
if you
then we
you
have
open it
different
up, it's
problems.
fine. And you're like, oh, there we go. But
I
it's
see it.
it's the same.
Would I
Like
essentially-
if you
Like on that point of like the like heartbeats,
Mhm.
would I be able to use life to like be able to tell how many like people are in a space based on
absolutely
heartbeat or something?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the way that I do it is that it is range of perception if you do not have correspondence or data. So range of perception is any sense that you have inside of that range, if you would be able to detect it, either through vibrations, through hearing, through sight. If someone is like hiding behind a trash can and you have life sight, the distance of your perceptions just has a new filter attached to it.
So basically, like I could read like the ballroom and be like, okay, we've got 200 people here tonight.
Now, the only thing about that is that, like, you would still have to count to 200. You wouldn't just automatically know the number, but you would be able to see every pattern present, even hidden
Yeah.
ones. If
Or
you
like
had,
you walk into the bathroom, you'd be able to tell, oh, there's somebody in that stall.
yeah, I'd let you use time 1 in conjunction with that to immediately know, because you just take that extra second to count.
Sure.
So,
Okay, cool.
But detecting is detecting thoughts of like a
mine 2 is
mind-
surface thoughts. Mine 3 is pure telepathy.
Okay.
Mine 3 also allows you to dive. As in, you can so you can literally just access thoughts. The only thing about that is that if you are making someone think of something, then they know they're thinking of it. So if I'm in your head and I'm like, okay, what's your social security number? And then you're like 012121292. Why did I just think of my social security number?
Okay.
Right? Because it comes to the front of the mind. Well, I mean, I guess if you're deep diving, I guess it depends on them. It depends on whether or not they pass an awareness check, I think, probably. But with level 2, it would be just like base, like surface area stuff, which is still fantastic for like negotiations or getting a good deal on your cell phone plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's
why her gym is so popular. She's just like she emanates this cool aura and also like slightly influences people to keep their memberships.
Well, because you have Prime 2, you could theoretically infuse that cool aura to things inside of your place.
Oh.
There are a couple of ways that you could do that. Technically, you would need spheres to do it. But I would say that as part of your focus, you could literally just spend a bunch of time and have it playing through your music system. So that so long as this, like, your MP3 player is plugged in and playing, or the whatever system is playing your top 40 hits or something like that, it just feels cool in here.
Okay.
But yeah, you can totally do that. Absolutely.
Cool.
Mind effects are really, really hard to resist. They're tough.
Sweet.
Okay.
It's willpower a lot of the time, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was always unsure of when I was running Mage Revised, is how it works. But in M20 they rolled it out a lot more clear, and it's usually you have a difficulty of willpower +3. Usually, I think it is, and if you succeed, it's over. And I do it current willpower, because the more tired you get, the easier it is to influence you. Most normal mundanes have a willpower of 2 or 3 max. Like, they're pretty lazy. Some of us have a willpower of 1 and just take our ADD meds.
Wee.
All right. Anybody have any other questions about magic?
No questions, but I did want to bring up one thing that if I can talk about another thing that's in Lord of the Traditions book, because
Yeah, so long as it doesn't spoil anything in the book that they'd be mad at us for. Yeah, let's do it.
fair. It's just because when we were talking about building and everything, you were saying, you know, try and use some stuff from the book, right? Because
Absolutely,
that's
yeah.
kind of what we're here for. One of the practices that they put in for virtual adepts is it's called hacker analysis, and it's basically, and this is what Bex does, you analyze like other traditions' way of doing things, and then just adapt it to yourself. So then they get mad because they're like, why did I have to spend 4 hours in a ritual when you just, you know, used some algorithm that you made up based on watching me?
Or like someone has to do like some type of chant to contact spirits, you record it and play it back at 5 times speed. Or like,
Yep.
or like it's this, you know what you would do? It'd be this huge chant where it'd be like, you go to like the celestial chorus and you wait until they're doing the, like, you know, the list. And it's like every time you say Jesus, the loop increases by double.
Yeah.
And it starts off as a prayer and just ends like the B movie speed ups.
Oh man, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like every
So
time they
good.
say B, it increases by 10 times or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The virtual adepts are too
Um,
powerful in modern day.
It's so good.
Like,
I
it's-
also found this road that's called Find Paradox, and I kind of want that one because it's
What?
great. It's Prime 1, Entropy 1, and
Just
you
look in a
are
mirror.
looking for paradox energies, you know,
God.
vulgar magic leaving traces on people.
Yeah, because like you wear that like that's so good. That's so good.
It's so good.
It's just me lighting up every single time.
Level 1 spheres can be amazing if you use
420
them
blaze it.
correctly.
All right, so I think that's pretty good. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about for their character or the chronicle? All right, so folks, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this chronicle. So what is happening is we are running Mage the Ascension, Breaking Tradition, which is a short chronicle that's going to be 5-6 games long. It is going to tie in some facet to our Victorian era Mage the Ascension Chronicle, so keen-eyed viewers might enjoy it. We are using our Saturday nights to dedicate to this, and then we'll be going back to running Victorian era Mage, which we had to pause briefly over the holidays because we had like a bunch of flash floods that affected one of our players. I like your new space, Jen. It's good.
Right?
Yeah, I'm excited to get you back in your like real home.
That'd be nice. It's probably like 3 to 4 months away.
Oh God, really?
Yep.
Oh,
They have
God.
currently pulled out all of the floor and about 2 feet of drywall through the entire place, and all of the cabinets, all of the appliances, all of that's just it's great.
That's so rough. Well, I'm glad that you're covered.
Yep. I actually had a conversation with my insurance agency yesterday that was almost an identical repeat of the same conversation I had with him last week. But in theory, I should get money by Tuesday, so that'd be great.
Oh, great. I'd love it if you had money by Tuesday.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, oh God, I was just thinking of how powerful the virtual adepts can be with Airbnb.
Uh-huh.
That means, no, seriously, think about this. With the right spheres, you could manifest the Batcave if you needed it. It would cost you a lot of money. But you could be like, okay, I need a place with a weapons locker, secret compartments, a safe room, and a secret back door in and out. Those are really specific. Don't worry, I got this. It's going to cost me like $5,000, but flip. There it is right there. Booked.
You're thinking more like 15 to 20 grand because the place
San
I'm
Fran.
in is $3,000.
That's fair. No, I was saying for the night.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for the night. Fair.
For the night. Okay, so that's really good. So this is going to run that time. Now, we're doing something a little weird here on Onyx Path. Because we normally run over at our own channel, twitch.tv/dorktales and youtube.com/dorktales. We're over here on Onyx Path helping them celebrate. But what we'd like to do is invite you to come back over with us. So we're running this episode on the Onyx Path and episode 1 on the Onyx Path, kind of as like a little pilot program. If you enjoy the show, come back to Dork Tales. We're running on the exact same night, just on our channel. If you're watching this on Dork Tales later, what's going to happen is this is going to be rebroadcast the night before episode 1, and then episode 1 is going to be rebroadcast the night before episode 2. On our own channel and on our YouTube. So you can join us there, take a look, and enjoy all of this fun content. What I would really like you to do is come and join us, see if it works. It's something that we normally would just run the entire thing over here, but because we normally run Mage on our own channel on this night, and this was just a cool opportunity to look through Lord of the Traditions and do something really cool with Mage over on the Onyx Path, which is a huge honor, we couldn't say no. So come follow us back when the time is right, and you might like some more of our content over there. And plus, it frees things up here on Saturday night in case other people want to run other things, right? So I hope that makes sense, because it's a weird idea that I pitched, but they seem to like it. So it's fine. So you can go and follow us there. It's an honor to have you, Travis. I see you right there. Oh, we're being raided right now. Hello, Raid. We are just finishing up our session 0. So if you have any questions about Mage the Ascension, drop them now, and we will answer them. I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be a fantastic game starting next week. It's going to be 7 o'clock on the dot. No technical errors. Vivian's name spelled correctly. And an action-packed extravaganza in full of mystic traditions and sass at the previous traditional council. And also... real quick question there. For any of you watching who are particularly fond of the old Mage the Ascension metaplot, I have a query for you. And that is, if anyone can tell me, in the Hollow Ones book, what Mark's last name is. He is the POV character from the fiction, and if you can tell me what his last name is, I will give you 5 internet points. They're not valid for anything at all, but I'll name an NPC after you. If you can find me his last name, if he exists outside of this book, or inside of this book, because I'm having trouble finding it. I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, that is Shackleford. That would be Shackleford. Metaplot. Occultist Anonymous. You teaser. World of Darkness game. Hey, nice too. So yeah, I think that you should all definitely check out Lore of the Traditions. It is a fantastic examination of how the traditions would function today, with a lot of diverse opinions from incredibly talented writers. And to give you an example of what this book does, I was trying to get some work done and had Christine literally raving at me from the other room about the opening introduction. Christine does not like to really read non-stats or fiction for role-playing books, and she was raving about this, just the introduction to why Lore of the Traditions as a book needs to exist. And
It's pretty freaking good.
yeah, and everything that she was saying was just like amazing. You should get this book, even if you're just backing the PDF copy. Do it. It's great. That's my guarantee. Shilling for Onyx Path. I did not sponsored, although technically I'm on their channel right now, so like kind of sponsored, like present.
Well, and I've read the introduction chapter and the Cult of Ecstasy chapter, and they've both been really good and kept my attention the whole way through. I actually finished them all without like missing bits, because that tends to be what happens when I read too fast, and I will go fast and I'll miss a line.
So
have to go back and figure out what I missed.
And I'm not talking about Mark Gillian. I'm talking about Mark the Hollow One, who's just a dude that ends up hanging out with Penny Dreadful a lot in the Hollow One book. But it's a fantastic book, and they're only $200 away from their next Kickstarter stretch goal, which I strongly I would like to suggest that you do. I would like to convince you to do so, because I've already backed it, and like you're getting me a stretch goal, so that would be cool. It'd be cooler if you did. Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be a fantastic game. It is going to be yeah, I'm going to complicate your lives significantly, I think, players, and that's my goal. Yeah. And is there anything that you want to say or express to the audience or to me about the game? Anything you want to see? Because this is your game too.
I'm excited to finally be playing a static. I've been
I'm
kind of like
excited for
wanting to
you.
play it ever since Amy played it in a tabletop game we had a while ago. I was just
Oh
like,
God.
this sounds like a lot of fun. I like this. Oh,
Yep.
Nice.
I want to try
I
this.
haven't played a virtual adept since Mage 3. remember her, Kelly?
I know Kaylee Reed. You could honestly, your mentor could have been Kaylee Reed.
That's true. That would be funny.
That would
Kaylee
be.
was great. She almost got eaten by Control.
She did. Kaylee would be. She was 13 in 2012, so she would now be 21. No, in this meta plot, she'd be 24.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we're old.
Yeah. She got into a willpower battle with Control, which it was in the old meta plot of like the technocracy and was, led by Control and all this. That was fun. I was like one willpower away from just being
Right.
well dead.
So Crowbar Zero in the chat asks, how do mages view vampires versus werewolves versus fae? It really depends on the mage. The wizardly ones sure don't like the vampires anymore, but that's a lot of meta plot. Werewolves, neat, but stay away from them is a pretty good one, unless you're one of the few types of mages that are generally politically aligned with them, like the whole save the world bent, which are becoming more common as the world slides into horrible climate catastrophe. And then fae are great, and with this crew it'd be like fae probably make the best drugs. That's honestly, the World of Darkness, like the old World of Darkness fae, are basically magic LARPers. So I think the mages would be cool with them. Mages are nerds. That's just me, though. I could be wrong. Oh, God. Well, remember, so Crowbar Zero says that you can imagine mages love Tremere. Well, the Tremere used to be mages, and it didn't go well from there. In fact, they are magic LARPers. They literally are just imagining that the world is mystical. They're not imagining. They're seeing that the world actually is fantastical. But they're going in with like paper swords. Like they're able to use like paper towel tubes as like lightsabers and stuff. But it actually cut through things. It's weird. It's particularly weird if any of you have done Changeling the Dreaming as a LARP, because then you're a LARPers LARPing LARPers. And then there was that one game where I ran a Technocracy LARP where you met a bunch of changelings who were LARPing and got pulled into their delusions a little bit because some of you were pretty
That was great.
But it was like, what the hell are they doing? And then you had to go romp with. It was weird. It was great. It was great for a one-time thing. It was great for a one-time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're just like they're all.
That had lasting consequences.
Did it? What happened?
I think that part of what, because that was the one we did in tradition in Technocracy, right?
Yeah.
So I think whatever happened, whatever Chloe got there, I think it had something to do with sword fighting. It was like, I think she was like a knight. And some part of that kind of carried over a little bit.
I think that was
because
the
of
episode
combination
inside
things.
of the Marauderscape where you became Wonder Woman.
Oh, maybe it was that one.
It was
Okay.
that one.
I don't know.
Was that
You kept
Marauder?
into
There was a
ending-
mix of things that kept happening.
She
Things kept just sticking.
She kept becoming.
Things just kept happening. It's fine.
My Technocracy game was great. It was great. We hit a lot of bases. So if you like that kind of stuff, you definitely want to tune in for this. It's going to be great. I'm not going to say if there's going to be some bleed over to other splats like vampires, not mages, vampires, werewolves, changelings, hunters. There's always hunters. Although I haven't read Hunter. Let's see what's going on with hunters these days. But yeah, so it's all going to be inside of San Francisco. And is going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you'll tune in with us next Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific here on the Onyx Path, or if you're watching this later on Dork Tales, here on Dork Tales, which it'd be great to have you. If you want to see what what we're like and what our games are like, I strongly suggest you head over to youtube.com/dorktales and go check out our Victorian era Mage the Ascension game. There's also a bunch of stuff from Chronicles of Darkness and some story path games that we ran here on the Onyx Path that you can get a sense of the type of games we run. Does someone want to link the playlist from YouTube in the chat? When is it again? It is 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is 9:15 Pacific Standard right now. So we do dress up. We're super. You know what? It's gonna be so nice though, because this is a modern era game, so I can literally just wear this instead of the 3-piece suit that is, for some strange reason. I promise that the reason we're running this instead of Victorian is not to give myself like an extra month to lose the 5 pounds that I gained that make that vest tight over Christmas. I promise it's not even connected at all. It's a little bit connected. That suit's getting a little tight. So 7 p.m. next Saturday, and Occultist Anonymous. Is that our link? Did you link us? Oh, thank you.
Aww.
Thank you so much. So yeah, go check that out. It's a dope ass game. It's really good. The first episode is like, I'm really proud
It's
of
a
it.
romp.
Like
I'm
the first
Evelyn in
episode
that
is
game.
definitely the gem.
You
And
might
that-
not be able to tell just looking.
Oh god, they might not be able to recognize me either.
That's true.
Apparently.
Amy's invisible in that game. You think the sword is just for show?
This one, I will just have a wig and the normal clothing. But
I could wear my Matt Mercer wig the entire time. It'd be great.
in Victorian, I have a Victorian shirt and a full, very elaborate wig.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, go
Our
check it
wigs
out.
are elaborate for that.
It's we try. It's a very elaborately costumed game. It's gonna be nice to play modern for a little while longer. So folks, that is probably going to be a good session 1 for us. Or session 0, I guess. Session 0. So everybody, we all have our characters figured out. We know what this is going to be. I've got a list of NPCs I can drop on your heads at any time. We have our lines and veils. We have what types of plot we want. And I don't want to spoil anything from you or with you, but you are going to be put in some questionable moral circumstances where you have to do the... So here's the question. Are your characters the type that would do the wrong thing for the right reason or the right thing for the wrong reason?
Oh,
guess
that's
we'll-
a good question.
Both.
Do we have full images for our character
I-
art? We do not. These are art breeder. Well, I mean, sort of. We have art breeder images because we... I will post those shortly. We'll put those up on our wiki when my wiki guy puts those up. Remind me to send those to Trask.
I think my character focuses on very firmly like the idea of consent and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So she's not necessarily going to violate somebody else's like bodily autonomy.
Well, I'm curious what your take on the Ascension War is going to be, because even though it's over, it's never over. Because war never changes, not even
War
for
is
mages.
eternal.
Yes, I will put them up. I'll give you them, Trizalta. I really need like a Trizalta icon with him whispering in my ear. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of our episode 0 of Breaking Tradition here on the Onyx Path. We're really excited to be doing this game, and it is going to be hopefully a lot of fun, and hopefully you stick with us, because being able to run Mage the Ascension on the Onyx Path is a little nerd dream of mine. It's something I've been really wanting for the longest time. To share my deep and abiding and weepingly, chest-beatingly, like, deep passion for this game with all of you, and tell a cool story and have a lot of fun. So please join us next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific, here on the Onyx Path, or later on twitch.tv/dorktales or youtube.com/dorktales. And we'll see you then.